Let's talk about that. Let's start there with Brandon Aiyuk and how he may have alienated himself from the Danielses. So let me catch you up. Yesterday, Brandon Aiyuk decides that he didn't like Jayden Daniels, or at least this is what they showed online. Aiyuk makes a video acting like he didn't like what Jayden Daniels did or didn't do when that Niner fan with camera came up and said, F Aiyuk 8 times, and Jayden Daniels laughed it off. I would have done the same thing. What am I going to do? Fight some guy with a camera who I don't know? I've never been in a fight. And I have a lot to lose, and I'm not Jayden Daniels. So I guess Brandon Aiyuk didn't like it. And then he tried to follow it up. Well, when he said he didn't like it, he said, he said that Jayden Daniels texted him and told him to basically shut up. It's my team now. You play by my rules. And, for weeks I was saying, Aiyuk can say whatever he wants as long as Jayden Daniels gives him the green light. As soon as Jayden Daniels says stop, Brandon needs to stop. And according to Brandon, who may or may not be trolling, we'll talk about that in a minute, he said Jayden Daniels told him to stop, and he was like, why would I listen to someone who's a mama's boy, essentially? Like, you got to get away from your mom before I can even begin to take you seriously. And I wonder how many players in the NFL actually feel that way about Jayden Daniels. I mean, it is kind of strange. At a certain point, he has to get out from under her shadow. But then Brandon tried to walk it back a little bit, or did he? He posted a boomerang video of him holding his biggest brand shoes. I'm going to talk about that brand in a minute because it's phenomenal. And saying, need you to stay healthy this year, Jayden, and I'll do the same. Let's run it. Which to me is kind of a jab. Need you to be tough. Need you to be durable. Brandon Aiyuk saying this to Jayden Daniels. Then Jayden Daniels posts a picture on his Instagram story of Kevin Durant giving 2 thumbs down. Let's not run it, Brandon. And that's it. We're caught up until, first of all, this morning I got harder than I've ever gotten by a parody account on Twitter that just invented a picture that said, enjoy retirement, pal. It said it was from Jayden Daniels to Brandon Aiyuk. It wasn't. They made it up. It was, I'm sorry. So that's not real. And here's why that's important, because that's, to me, seemed like evidence that these two are not trolling, but it was not real. And Benjamin Albright, who's a bit of an NFL insider, he's based out of Denver, he's a radio host, said that this is all an act. These are friends. This is all an act. Maybe. Could be. Although I don't know if Brandon has it in him to plan this. Maybe he does. Maybe Brandon Aiyuk is verbal Kint from Usual Suspects, and you just don't think it's him, and you don't think it's him, and you don't take him seriously, and then it turns out, just as you let him go, he drops the limp, pulls out the cigarette, lights it, waltzes away, and it's clear, oh, that was Kaiser Sose the whole time. Maybe Brandon Aiyuk is an evil genius. Maybe he's Kaiser Sose. Maybe Jayden Daniels. But why would Jayden Daniels want to engage in this? It seems like he engaged as little as possible. He put that one little cryptic post up, a picture, and that's it. And we know what it means, but not too much to the point where Washington would be like, dude, stop making headlines. So maybe they're trolling. Maybe this is how they talk to each other. Although I've never seen them do stuff like this online before. They unfollowed each other. Why would they be trolling? Is it to avoid tampering charges? To me, that gives Brandon too much credit, man. This is a guy who hasn't really shown that he has any strategy since he got his contract. Here are my prize picks for the 49ers 2026 season. Brock Purdy, 25.5 passing touchdowns, more or less. I'm going to say less. Christian McCaffrey, 974.5 rushing yards, more or less. I'm going to say less. Mike Evans, 924.5 receiving yards, more or less. That's a tough one. I'm going with less. Go to Prize Picks, use promo code HMA. Play $5 and get 50 instantly in lineups. Again, that's code HMA. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. He doesn't really think strategically. And we have this piece of evidence. So this is real. Jayden Daniels' mother is on Instagram. And she posted a story last night. Let's check it out. Here it is on the screen. This is Jayden Daniels' mother, Ms. Jackson. Woo! Okay. Here it is. Happy 4th of July. If you notice on the bottom, there are comments under her story. And there are 3 comments that are visible. Now, I'm a Instagram newbie, but from what I understand, you have to manually make these visible. Only the comments that you approve of are visible. I'm sure there were many more comments than these 3. I'm sure if I left a comment right now, it wouldn't be visible. But there are these 3 comments. The top one is from someone named Miss Rara, who Miss Jayden Daniels' mother follows, and she says, "Love it, unbothered, not paying attention to the unemployed crying emoji," which is exactly how I interpret it as well. So, I don't know. It seems to me that what Jayden Daniels' mother could be saying is, this is beneath us. My son's a superstar. Brandon Aiyuk is soon to be unemployed. I don't care. My son's going to be just fine without Brandon Aiyuk. Or she could be saying, this is how these guys horse around. This is their sense of humor. I'm really not concerned. Everything's going to work out one way or another. I just don't think they're trolling. It would be really funny if they were. It would be really funny if at the end of this, Brandon Aiyuk got the last laugh and didn't have like a mental health crisis, and people stopped being concerned and everyone was like, wow, Brandon actually knew what he was doing and planned his moves accordingly and was really smart and didn't let the Niners get over on him and didn't ruin his own career. Because it looked for a while there like he was being the most self-destructive person of all time. Like, just couldn't stop talking. And just the talking was ending his career. No hitting, no crashing, just talking, ending his career. It was really sad. And then boom, he actually had a plan, and Jayden Daniels helped him. And there was like, this was just a hilarious twist, and they thought it all up, and they wanted content creators to make a lot of money, so they did this thing, and Brandon figured it out. I don't know, man. It seems like at this point, we're seeing that he's a guy who can't be helped, at least at this point in his life. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but it just seems like Jayden Daniels and his mom tried to help him. But you can't have Brandon Aiyuk taking shots at the quarterback before he's even on the team. And I'm sure this makes Kyle Shanahan laugh. This vindicates the 49ers. And I keep saying, like, the Niners should not be off the hook here. Sure, Brandon Aiyuk did some of the most unprecedented stuff ever, but they gave him $120 million. They thought this would be a good idea, or they didn't think it would be a good idea, but they did it anyway. This goes on the resume of a very controversial front office that's had some big misses, and this is one of their biggest. But yeah, this is going to define Brandon Aiyuk as well. And again, what baffles me about the Brandon Aiyuk situation is, did he get screwed over? Maybe. He hasn't said so. I'd love him to come out and be like, I was ready to play last year and they didn't let me play. That would be some powerful stuff. If he came out and said that, that would change everything. He was healthy. He could have played. But no, he's not making a case like that. All he's doing is making things worse when he talks. I mean, all he really had to do was pay a speeding ticket, which he can afford. File the paperwork to fire his agent, which he did eventually. Hire a new agent, which could have been Jayden Daniels' mother or someone else. File the paperwork to be reinstated. Could have done that already. This is easy stuff. It's a lot easier than, running a full route tree or running 22 miles an hour and stopping on a dime. Easy stuff. Don't alienate the Washington Commanders. Don't say anything publicly to Jayden Daniels. When Jayden Daniels laughed off that guy saying F Brandon Aiyuk could laugh off Jayden Daniels laughing it off. All he had to do was chill for like 3 weeks. And what's crazy about it to me, I don't want to use the C word because I'm not calling him crazy. But what's amazing to me about this is that he did chill for like 9 months. He didn't say anything. They voided his guarantees. He said nothing. And showed up for like 3 months. What? And then he walks away and he still says nothing. He doesn't post 8 million updates to his story. Seems like he's, being a dad, doing his life. Then June 1st comes around. He gets a warrant out for his arrest. He doesn't get released. And he just goes on a scorched earth campaign, which has only hurt him. I don't get it. It's not like someone was giving him advice for 9 months and then that person left. Seems like he just decided to change things up. I don't get it. Did he think, okay, well, being quiet didn't work. Now I have to be really loud? I think he's wrong. I think being quiet was working. And I think being patient was working. All he needed to do was handle business in the background without saying anything. Have Jayden Daniels in his back pocket, and he's good. Couldn't even do that. And it's like, he's almost 29. At what point do you just be like, sorry, bud? I mean, you got $50 million. I mean, maybe this is good. Maybe you won't get CTE. You know what I mean? Like maybe you shouldn't play football that much longer. It's a brutal sport. You already got one brutal injury. Maybe this is good. Blessing in disguise. But if he actually wanted to play for the Washington Commanders, and what's funny is he unfollowed Jayden Daniels, but didn't unfollow the Washington Commanders. He thinks there's a world where he can have beef with the quarterback and still get signed because he's that good. What? That's the best part. I get a feeling that Jayden Daniels is kind of insecure about the mom thing. And I think Brandon hit him where it hurts. I don't think they troll like that. I don't think Jayden Daniels' friends joke around like that. I think that's off limits. And I think once she writes you off, you're done. Maybe he didn't really want to go to Washington. Maybe he really didn't want to keep playing football. Although, if he doesn't get to Washington, the video of him selling Washington Commanders tickets on his Instagram will go down as one of the funniest videos of all time. Go to www.commanders.com. Dude, all time. All time. But I feel like there is so much that Brandon can do in the future. He may not be a football player anymore, but he has so much talent. It's clear. People are always going to be tuned into what he's doing, what he's saying, and what he's wearing.